Man crates. Awesome gifts for men in real wooden crates, wrapped in a cocoon of duct tape, or housed in ammo cans that are virtually indestructible. Some gifts he'll get to assemble himself. Some gifts you'll beg him to share. And some gifts are sealed inside layers of rock-solid concrete. Gifts guys love, from grilling gear to old-school video games and more. Man crates. Awesome gifts for men.
And welcome into the Michigan Football Report here live on Chat Sports. Cam Rogers alongside our Michigan Football Insider, James Yoder. It has gone final in Purdue. The Boilermakers lose to the Wolverines 28-10. Quite an interesting game. Of course, you have Spate's injury. We'll dial in about that and what it means going forward. John O'Korn coming into the game as the backup. He played nicely in the second half. Certainly an interesting one at that. And we are presented by Man Crates. Go on to mancrates.com/chatsports. Get one of these bad Larrys. A box full of masculinity, ladies and gentlemen. Get from golf gear to barware, honestly, fishing gear, anything a dude likes. James, something pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I love Man Crates. I'll tell you, everyone watching, stick with us. This is a Michigan Man Crate. This bad boy is packed with Michigan football goodness. In about 10-12 minutes from now, we're going to uncrate it. And I've been told we might be giving one away sometime, maybe this show, maybe next week. But stick around, see what's in this Man Crate. I'm super excited to get that going. As excited as I am to talk about this Michigan football game versus Purdue.
Absolutely. Michigan improving to 4-0 on the year. Purdue falling to 2-2. And we want you folks to weigh in throughout the program. Of course, we are completely live. And we want you to comment on who should be Michigan's starting quarterback versus Michigan State University. Should it be Spate? Should it be O'Korn? Here's the interesting little nugget here, James. The fact that Michigan is off next week. So that gives O'Korn some time to get some first-team reps, if you will, and perhaps he could be better prepared for Michigan State University. But, of course, we want you to weigh in, and we'll throw up the comments throughout the program here today. I think it's a legit question.
I think it's a very legit question, and John O'Korn, who I've not been a fan of, you heard me talking about in our show prep when he got in the game. I'm thinking this is a loss for Michigan, and he was very surprising. Once he got maybe those first kind of overthrows behind him, he looked solid. He looked like the John O'Korn I think a lot of Michigan fans expected to start the year last year as the starting quarterback. He looked shaky last year in his one start versus Indiana, but I'll tell you what, they scored a touchdown on their first drive, kind of got rid of those red zone woes that they've had under Will and Spate for the last 3.5 games. And I'm super excited about John O'Korn getting some first team reps. I hope Will and Spate isn't severely injured, but as we said in our Michigan football preview yesterday, it's about time someone got snaps. Unfortunately, it had to be because of injury, but I am very glad that someone got in the Michigan football game behind center and took some competent snaps. And if you're asking me right now, I'm going to ask this weigh in right now. I might even type it into the show in comments. It's no question it's O'Korn right now. Spate showed nothing before he got injured, and O'Korn came right in and moved the offense along and had probably the best game by a Michigan football quarterback in half a football season.
And, of course, if you want to split hairs, you could look at that one interception by O'Korn, but it was actually a good throw.
Yeah, it was a very good throw. Right off Grant Perry. It should not have been intercepted, not his fault.
And we have a commenter here, Brian, saying O'Korn should start. He looked good. We're all about instant reactions across the world of football, especially Michigan football. And, there's a lot of legitimacy to that point. O'Korn played well. Took some time for him to finally get in the groove. But Michigan's defense really was the story, I think, in this game.
Yeah, held another opponent under 200 yards. I was scared of this Purdue offense. They moved the ball very well this year. And Coach Brohm, however you pronounce it, he has instilled fear. I think in a lot of Big Ten teams that are playing Purdue had written that as a guaranteed W. This Purdue team has been just it's an afterthought of a program down there with Rutgers and some others in the Big Ten for the past 5 or 6 seasons. This team is for real, Purdue, but Michigan's defense came to play today, and just another great performance. The Michigan defense carried the day. We had some, special teams, nothing special, but until John O'Korn got under center, it was looking like another dreary day for the Michigan offense. Defense stepped up, though.
As we bring up another commenter saying, of course, O'Korn should start, James, it makes me wonder, are there Spate loyalists out there in Ann Arbor that really want him to get back in under center?
I think the only Spate loyalist that matters right now is probably Coach Jim Harbaugh, who
Right.
has given him the longest leash I can remember for a Michigan starting quarterback, who really didn't perform but had no real, I believe, fear of losing his job. I mean, they weren't even giving anyone any snaps in real quality time this entire year, outside of that one drive that O'Korn got against Florida after Spate threw those 2 pick six. They put Spate right back in after one drive. So I think Jim Harbaugh still thinks he gives the team the best chance to win, but you look at the actual, it's like one of these things. Your heart tells you one story, your eyes tell you
And the
another
tape,
story,
of
right?
course,
The
yeah.
tape tells you the story, and that tape says that John O'Korn is a much better quarterback right now than Wilton Spate. So I like these comments coming in. Seth has a great comment, and I think it's got to be O'Korn the next game, and we'll see what he does with 2 weeks of prep time going against Michigan State, a game that likely is going to be under the lights in Michigan Stadium. They haven't announced that officially yet, but that's all the rumors. If we were talking about the rumor meter, I'd give that a flaming 5 Harbaughs.
There you go.
Guaranteed going to happen, yeah.
So a few of our instant reactions we've already touched on a little bit, of course, John O'Korn replacing Spate after the injury. But let's dive into what we actually saw on the tape with Spate.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a hard hit. It was a free runner up the center area, the A gap, if you will. And it looked like it could have been a rib, could have been a collarbone type deal. And, of course, they had to take Spate off campus to a hospital because there wasn't the right treatment there on the site.
Yeah, so he has been injured last year. He hurt his collarbone, miraculously made it back when multiple MGO blog, a very popular Michigan blog, erroneously said he was out for the season. Comes back 2 weeks after, I guess they never said exactly what it was, but people said he broke his collarbone, came back 2 weeks later and took Ohio State to multiple overtimes. So Spate has shown the ability to come back from devastating potential season-ending injuries very quickly. Now, they took him out of the field, out of the stadium, because Purdue is not set up to give proper treatment. They couldn't do an x-ray on whatever it was. We're still waiting to hear word what the results of those x-rays were, what body part they were checking. But I was kind of just writing this off as a loss at that point because I've seen a lot of John O'Korn. I haven't been too excited about what I've seen from him, but he certainly proved me wrong.
And, of course, we will update you all as that story unfolds with Spate. Chatsports.com will have all the latest, of course. And here's something that's given with Michigan. The defense.
Yep.
They got it done today. And look, Purdue, I know you mentioned Rutgers, but they were scoring points in the first few games. And they came into this homecoming weekend battling a really good Michigan defense. You thought maybe Purdue could give them some fits. Didn't happen.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the stats here, just looking to make sure I have the exact ones. 180 yards of offense, only 7 first downs for Purdue. Quarterbacks, we had 7 of 16 by one guy, another 1-1, David Blow, who I don't know if he's the starter or he's the backup. They kept rotating guys in and out.
Some trickery.
Yeah, 4 of 10. So all in, their quarterbacks went, let me do a quick math, 12 of 28 on the day. So 12 of 27, I'm sorry, on the day. So not too much production. Michigan held them to almost no rushing yards again. So great performance by the Michigan defense. The offense finally started to show some light. Chris Evans getting back into it. Ty Isaac, who I thought he must have been injured after not seeing him for most of the first half and into the second half. He got some decent carries. Karan Higdon. So good, little bit of mix of the running game. Got a lot of tight ends involved. Sean McCune, 5 catches. He was almost on our Michigan Man of the day list that we'll talk about later in the show, but is not. So I think overall, scared to death up until about 4 minutes left in the third quarter, 3 minutes left, and then he kind of really felt comfortable after they scored the go-ahead touchdown.
And, of course, one of our other reactions, O'Korn, and how he really played nicely in that second half. One of the commenters actually posted that they opened up the playbook with O'Korn there at the quarterback position. And the other thing is, too, it can electrify the rest of the team if, you see some change.
Yeah, and what's interesting is I have never gotten the kind of the vibe that O'Korn has any wheels, but he avoided some defenders. He stepped up in the pocket. He even got hit once really bad, spun off it, and made a completion to a tight end. I can't remember. I think it was McCune coming around the left side. So saw some things out of O'Korn that I've never seen before. Maybe it kind of reminded me, honestly, of early season, Wilton Spate last year, having some great pocket awareness, making plays you didn't think he was had. And I think what you said, team just got hyped up. They came to play. They were much more of an energized team with O'Korn at quarterback, especially in the second half, than they were, at any time in the game. Even the last 2.5 games, going back to the Florida game with Wilton Spate at the helm.
And mentality can be such a changer sometimes in football. And let's get to those highlights here. The moment you've been waiting for, folks. Number 8, Michigan coming into homecoming weekend. And here is the Wilton Spate pass attempt. He will get taken down, and this is where the injury occurred. He was down for about a minute or so. like we said, transferred to a local hospital to receive x-rays. No update yet from the Michigan football team, but we will monitor. To the second, John O'Korn now in at quarterback, and he'll find Mr. Zach Gentry on the rollout. He will dive towards the pylon for the touchdown. Wolverines strike first. Purdue would fire back, though. Elijah Sindelar floats one across his body for Bryson Hopkins, and he's in for the score. We're tied at 7 now, ensuing possession for Michigan. And O'Korn, like we said, he does have that one interception in his stat line, but it was a pretty good throw. That eventually led to a field goal, 10-7 Purdue. Third quarter now, Chris Evans punches it in for 10 yards for the score, and Michigan back on top. As we head to the fourth, Ty Isaac gets involved as well and scores, and that would be that. Michigan improves to 4-0 while Purdue falls to 2-2, like I said, on their homecoming weekend. That's how you spoil it. There's the final score for you, and 135 rushing yards for Michigan in that one. Chris Evans, of course, quite a star.
Yeah, Chris Evans had a really nice kind of second half of the game. I think Karan Higdon was getting a lot of the carries early on. Ty Isaac didn't get many. Chris Evans was your game one starter. He kind of reemerged, long touchdown pass there, or catch there at the end. John O'Korn, really the story of the day, 18 of 25 for 270, a touchdown, one interception that wasn't his fault. And then you see over there in Purdue, 29 rushing yards. You know, abysmal quarterback play. And I thought quarterback play was somewhere that they could really hurt Michigan with that young secondary with 3 sophomores and a junior with almost with no starts under the belt prior to this season. So Michigan's defense came to play. I still think, and we're going to talk about where we think this Michigan team is towards the end of the season, what they can become, what they can build into as a team. But right now, I'm feeling good that no matter what happens against any opponent, Ohio State or anybody else in the regular season at least, the defense can keep them in the game.
It's certainly a confidence booster at that, playing on the road. And a friendly reminder, we are presented by Man Crates. Go on to mancrates.com/chatsports to get one of these bad Larrys. And James, we have a little demonstration.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. So we are going to break away, go over to Chat Sports Studio B. So stick with us. We're going to break this bad boy open. We're going to show you what's inside, tell you maybe how you can win one when we come back. And then we're going to go over the highlights, talk about the players of the game, and more coming back. So stick with us.
Man Crates. Awesome gifts for men in real wooden crates, wrapped in a cocoon of duct tape, or housed in ammo cans that are virtually indestructible. Some gifts he'll get to assemble himself. Some gifts you'll beg him to share. And some gifts are sealed inside layers of rock-solid concrete. Gifts guys love, from grilling gear to old-school video games and more. Man Crates. Awesome gifts for men.
Hey folks, we will get to those highlights in a matter of seconds, but of course we are presented by Man Crates. James Yoder, I'm feeling the testosterone right now. You ready to break one of these bad boys open?
Cam, the Man Crates guys promised me this last week. It showed up on Wednesday. I got into the office Thursday. I had it. I couldn't wait for today's game to break this bad boy out. So this is the Michigan Barware at the Man Crates website, mancrates.com/chatsports. Michigan Barware, the best place to buy gifts now this holiday season for the dad, brother, boss, husband, boyfriend in your life. I'm going to open this bad boy up, all right?
All right, let's do it.
For us. All right, so what they do, this is a crate. They've got us a crowbar, and you got to pop this bad boy open yourself. So you got to bring your grit to the thing. So I'm going to try and get this under here. All right, let's see what we got here, Cam.
A lot of time in the weight room.
Yeah, I've been staying swole for sure. All right, so we've got really cool coasters with a built-in bottle opener. Check those bad boys out.
There you go.
We got pistachios. We've got nuts. We've got some bar mix. Some corn nuggets. That's there. But the one thing I'm excited for, Cam, we're going to break these bad boys out. 4 Michigan beer cups, right? The Michigan Barware set from Man Crates. I love it. I can't wait to break these bad boys out.
Just imagine bringing this to a tailgate at a Michigan football game, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, it is mancrates.com/chatsports. You can get one of these bad Larrys.
that segment at halftime, so don't be alarmed. I didn't change shirts that fast. And gosh, I'll tell you what, looking at a t-shirt sitting down, I look like I gained away. Let me tell you what, I'm in shape. I feel that the camera gained about 20, 30 pounds on me there. But all right, so we broke that bad boy out. We've got these awesome, coasters. Let me show you on the back there. They got one of these right here. We're gonna pop these beers open. Dos Equis is not a sponsor, so we're gonna have to edit this out later, of course. But hey, Michigan cups.
Here we go.
Pour these bad boys in. Make sure you don't overflow there, Cam, on air. I'll put
I think I got it.
Next to me, right? Cheers.
Here
to
we
a
go.
Michigan football victory. And then these bad boys, that's a good beer. All right, so let's get a big thanks again to Man Crates for sending these along. You go to mancrates.com/chatsports, search for the Michigan football barware, and you'll get a box of Manless. You got to break it open with a crowbar, and whoever you send it to, trust me, they're going to be happy. This is awesome.
Boyfriends, husbands, dads, it's like the perfect time to go get one of these, send them on over as a gift because it is tailgate season.
Absolutely.
So there you go. Thanks again to Man Crates. Again, mancrates.com/chatsports. You can get one of these for your Michigan tailgate. And with that, we want you folks to weigh in on the Michigan season so far after watching 4 games. How many losses will Michigan have this season? And, of course, fans who know the schedule off the top of their heads will be able to answer this one very quickly because, there are some tough matchups, but overall it's not too bad.
I mean, they've got 4 big games left, right? So going into the season, you had Ohio State, of course. You started the year with Florida. You've got Michigan State. And then on the road against Penn State and Wisconsin, that Wisconsin-Ohio State game, back-to-back to end the year. That could be 2 back-to-back top 5 or 6 teams to end the country. So a lot of tough games coming up. Bye week next week, followed up 2 weeks from today at night. We've been told, I'm pretty confident it's going to happen, at home against a Michigan State team that struggles. We'll kind of see, sort of last year, 3-9, coming off a playoff year 2 seasons ago. We're going to see what they're made of tonight against Notre Dame, so tune into that game. Check them out. That's the next opponent. But I'm still saying it's a 2-loss team. I think out of those 4 big games, I guess 4 big games on the stretch that we have left, Michigan's going to lose 2 of the 4 probably, 2 on the road, 2 at home. I'm saying they're probably going to lose to Ohio State. I still, unfortunately, making that prediction until I see much better quarterback play out of Michigan, even what they got out of O'Korn today. So we've got some people piling in on how many losses they think. We've got Tracy, we've got Brian saying 2. Yeah, so Michael saying 0. Oh, man, I like this guy. This guy has confidence. I like what I see there, Michael. So keep the predictions coming. Just toss a number. Ooh, Doug. Wow. Doug Newsome. I don't know if this is a Purdue fan, Ohio State fan coming in there, but Doug is saying 5 losses. Any other ones coming in? Just type a number there in the comments section. We're going to keep going through those later. We'll kind of address these comments, your predictions for the Michigan football season coming up. Here, rest of the show. Yeah,
and of course we will be following along as the season goes on. And with that, we have our key plays to today's game, and sometimes they're not positive ones, or I guess it depends on your perspective here. Yeah. We have Spate's injury. We showed it during the highlights. Look, you get a free runner through the A-gap, and it's not like he took a shot directly to the rib area or to the collarbone. It was kind of a wraparound type tackle, but maybe he just hit himself hard on the ground.
He stayed down for a long time. They went to commercial break. They came back from commercial break, and he was just getting off the field. Had to take him out of the stadium all the way to another hospital to get x-rays. So it sounds serious. I would be shocked just the way it looked if he's back in 2 weeks against Michigan State. So I think you're penciling in John O'Korn as your starter unless Brandon Peters or Dylan McCaffrey show something in practice the next 2 weeks. So I'm expecting Spate to be out for at least a few weeks. Still waiting to hear back if there's any results. Mitchell Wren's back there in the studios checking Twitter.
He's working hard.
He's calling his contacts. I think he made a call into Ross-Ade Football Stadium to see if he can talk to the doctor on duty, but haven't got through just yet.
Well, let's get to play number 2 here, and there is Mr. O'Korn. Not the fastest guy in the world, but, he got out there, found some space for himself to create that throw, and the diving catch that it was from Gentry, or the diving touchdown, I should say. And, that was a good start to get the things rolling.
Yeah, Zach Gentry was a guy, if you'd asked me 2.5, 3 years ago, he'd be Michigan's starting quarterback right now. Came in as a very highly touted recruit out of high school, was flipped from Texas to Michigan right when Harbaugh got the job. And he's been a tight end. I'll tell you what, number 4, number 5 tight end in the depth chart, but he's getting a lot of snaps. He's doing some really good things. Had a great day today. got Michigan on the board. I think Michigan fans had a little bit of sigh of relief after that play happened, and went on from there. That was a key play. It got the red zone woes out of the way, and it got O'Korn feeling good about leading this offense.
And if we were to say that a running back was a star for the Wolverines today, probably would have been Ty Isaac, right? At the beginning of the day, we thought that. Well, it ended up being Chris Evans here as we show you key play number 3. He's going to punch it in on a 1st and goal. This was really important for Michigan to pull away here, create some momentum. Purdue really never had a shot from here on out, and Chris Evans, a nice little play there and a nice game overall.
Yeah, there was a play just a little bit prior to that I think was maybe key play number 4, but we only stick to 3, that Michigan took a targeting penalty on John O'Korn on, I believe it was a 3rd down. I don't have these exact numbers in front of me because we were more focusing on that play there, but that was the go-ahead touchdown play. But if they didn't get the targeting, Michigan was in some trouble. They'd have to give the ball back to Purdue going into the 4th quarter, down 3 points. That put them up for good. That's why it's key play number 3. And Michigan really cruised from there. They really got going on offense once they felt comfortable. The 4th quarter was kind of a breeze. And you really felt that John O'Korn had command of the offense throughout the 4th quarter. And they weren't just running it, which is good to see. Meant the coach had confidence in O'Korn to throw the ball, not make turnovers when he was just protecting a 4-point lead most of the 4th quarter.
Now, let's face it, James. I mean, they didn't light up the scoreboard, especially in terms of yardage and especially in terms of points. And with that, we ask you folks, and we want you to react here, who's most to blame for offensive struggles by Michigan? Is it the offensive line, perhaps Spate, Harbaugh, the offensive coordinator, Tim Drevno? So give us a heart for the offensive line, give us a laughing face for Spate, a wow face for Harbaugh, and an angry face for Drevno. I think, we originally had Spate / O'Korn, and then O'Korn played pretty well, so we had to take him out and just leave Spate there. And, I'm interested to see what people are thinking here.
Yeah, I mean, seeing a lot of Spate coming across the screen, seeing some Drevno. I mean, I don't know who is to blame necessarily because I'm not in these Michigan football practices and I'm not seeing what's going on. All I can show you is what I've seen through 4 games, and that is Spate number 1 by a long mile. Give me that ha-ha face all day. And then, friend of the program, friend of Chat Sports, Tim Drevno was probably right behind him because he should have made this decision to go to somebody else earlier. I think if you insert a backup quarterback that really had no chance of starting a game in Michigan as long as someone didn't get injured, a 5th-year guy, 3 years in the program, 2 at Houston, he comes right in, leads Michigan to more offensive progress than they've had the entire season in just 2.5 quarters of work. I think it says that Tim Drevno and a little bit of Jim Harbaugh should have maybe made a switch, not relied on an injury to make that switch. Offensive line, I mean, they're all getting blamed here. All 4 of these get some blame, but that O-line is pretty brutal as well. But O'Korn got the job done despite the offensive line, so I really don't think you can blame them as much as you can Wilton Spate and offensive coordinator Tim Drevno.
Well, I do think it's important to know that the offensive line missed that free runner that ended up hurting Wilton Spate in that game, so certainly some blame on that position, that front 5. But yeah, I mean, O'Korn, with the way he played today, you can certainly keep him off that list there. And, it comes down to, can Jim Harbaugh kind of get over his ego here and get over the fact that maybe Spate isn't the guy?
Yeah, it's funny because he has made decisions where he's gone with another quarterback a lot in his football career. I mean, he pulled Alex Smith up the first-place team and put Colin Kaepernick in injury and then left Kaepernick again. They went to the Super Bowl, right? And then Smith went on. He's having a great career with another team, with the Kansas City Chiefs. So he also has pulled in the past. Andrew Luck got into Stanford, never gave up the starting position again. So Jim Harbaugh has pulled quarterbacks in the past, so I'm not sure why he's been so married to Wilton Spate after seeing such poor performance this entire season. See a little John O'Korn, and this Michigan offense is rolling. If O'Korn was in the whole game, I think Michigan would have been in a lot better place kind of in the 4th quarter where it was still a game very much in question.
Well, Jim Harbaugh has come out in terms of more details about Wilton Spate, James. Not a lot, but he did say it was a soft tissue injury. We will know more tomorrow, so we will keep you all updated in regards to that.
Yeah, I don't really know what soft tissue means. It means
as
it's not
broad
a bone,
as you can
right?
get.
Yeah, it's not a bone injury. So what it means, I think, is it's not a collarbone, but it could be a shoulder, right? Yeah, I don't know.
I'm no doctor, but it could involve that. Yeah.
I did go to Chat Sports Medical School, though.
There you go. All right, let's move on to our Michigan Men of the Week. We have a few options for you. We're going to start off with the tight end sophomore Sean McCune, who was Michigan's leading receiver today. 5 receptions, 82 yards. He did have a long catch of 30 yards in this one, something that you don't see very often from a Michigan State tight end, or excuse me, a Michigan tight end, and so it's pretty significant.
You're already thinking ahead 2 weeks to the Spartans.
Exactly.
So Sean McKeon, I was always saying McKeon, he doesn't get many snaps, so it's McKeon. Great game, 5 receptions, 82 yards. Like what I saw to him. He bailed O'Korn out in a couple times where he came open right at the end when O'Korn was trying to avoid some rush. So really like what I saw out of McKeon. Michigan's got a lot of options at tight end. Where's even like Ty Wheatley, their starter? He's not even listed here. We saw some highlights from Zach Gentry, Sean McKeon. Like what I saw of the tight ends today.
Moving on here to Devin Bush Jr., the sophomore. He had 6 tackles in the game and a sack. A really good job by the Michigan front 7 today.
Great job. I mean, Devin Bush Jr. is Michigan's #1 player. It is no questions asked. There's no one even close to me when we talk about the entire season so far. We're going to do our Michigan preview show on Friday. It is Bush without question. He's the #1 player in this Michigan team. I think I know where my vote's going, but we'll go through the next few guys here.
Well, we mentioned this name already today. Chris Evans, the running back. He out-carried Ty Isaac today, 15 carries, 99 yards, couple of touchdowns, quite a day.
Yeah, I mean, he got more carries than Isaac. I don't know if it was Isaac in the doghouse, bad week of practice, still a little bit injured. I thought he'd be injured, he wouldn't have played, but 15 carries, 99 yards, big 2 touchdowns, the go-ahead, and kind of like the nail in the coffin there at the end. So great kind of turnaround game for Chris Evans, who was your week 1 starter. Haven't seen much from him this year.
And, of course, Mr. John O'Korn coming in with, look, not a lot of preparation, played quarterback after Spate's injury, and did a pretty good job. 18 of 36, 270 yards, a touchdown. Did have that 1 interception, but we said really not his fault. So, overall, I give him the nice B+ grade.
Yeah, I like what I saw about Korn. Gosh, I'll tell you what. I was so nervous. I was just almost practicing my "this is a loss, where do we go from here" spiel for this show around the middle of the 3rd quarter. Korn played great down the stretch. Really, when they got that lead, he looked super comfortable the last 17, 18 minutes of the game once Michigan went ahead 14-10. So let's think about who our Michigan man of the day is. I think we're going to ask people to weigh in, or are we going to do a reaction poll here on the Michigan man of the day?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a lot of options there as we bring up that reaction poll. Who was today's Michigan man? Sean McKeon, Devin Bush Jr., Mr. Chris Evans, or John O'Korn? It's a tough one for me. I like the way Chris Evans played today.
Yeah, I would have given John O'Korn the like here, maybe the angry face, but I'm happy with John O'Korn. But I'm giving it, it was all Devin Bush until the 4th quarter. I made my decision late in the 4th quarter. John O'Korn's got to be my Michigan man of the day. I still think Bush is your Michigan man of the season so far, but for me, John O'Korn is your Michigan man of the day. I'd love to hear what some people think. Maybe toss some comments if you disagree with any of these 4, think somebody else should be in it, or have reasons why your guy should be Michigan man of the day. But for me, it's John O'Korn.
Chase Winovich, perhaps a name that people might throw out there in the comments section, really had a nice game as well. A couple of sacks for him. Let's move on to the highlights here, and we will start in the late 1st. This, again, is the Wilton Spate injury. A free runner coming right at him. He remained on the ground for about a minute or so, transferred to a local hospital, and, of course, it is a soft tissue injury that we reported earlier today. More details coming out tomorrow in regards to that. To the second we go, John O'Korn now at quarterback, and he'll find Zach Gentry on the roll. And Gentry will dive for the touchdown, and the Wolverines will strike first, 7-0. Purdue would fire back, though. Elijah Sindelar floats one across his body. That one for Bryson Hopkins, and he's in for the score. We're tied at 7, ensuing possession for Michigan, and O'Korn is picked off. Intercepted by Navon Mosley. That eventually led to a field goal, and Purdue would go up 10-7, and that'd be the last time they'd lead this game. 3rd quarter now, Chris Evans punches it in for 10 yards for the score, and Michigan goes back on top, 14-10. In the 4th quarter we go. Ty Isaac gets involved, and he will score, and that would be that. Michigan takes down Purdue 28-10, Michigan improving to 4-0, Purdue falling to 2-2 on their homecoming weekend. And look, this was a game that Michigan was supposed to win if you're looking at the Vegas odds and all that stuff. But with the adversity and everything like that with Spate, I think it was pretty impressive.
Yeah, so let's, one thing I want to kind of talk about, let's talk about this reaction poll really quick. And then I want to talk about Spate's injury before we go. So where will Michigan be ranked next week? You give us a heart if they're ranked higher, if they move up in the polls. They're 8th right now. Do they go to 7? Do they go to 6? I think it's depending on do people lose. But last week we saw Michigan underwhelming performance. They dropped in the polls. Give us a ha-ha if they stay 8 where they are, no movement, and a wow face if they drop in the polls. I'm giving a wow. I think there's several teams who are 9, 10, 11 who are still undefeated that could pop up over Michigan, because this is just 3 uninspiring games in a row. If you really look at it, you say, oh, wow, Michigan was down with 2 minutes left in the third quarter to Purdue. That's not very inspiring for the 8th team in the country. So I'm going to go ahead and say they stay down. So want to address this Michigan, the Wilton Spade injury. Got a message here from our Chat Sports medical expert. So this is speculation, but soft tissue injury means the x-rays were most likely negative, so it's not anything broken. There's nothing separated most likely, and it means it's something with a muscle, tendon, or a ligament.
A bruise of some sort,
It could
maybe.
be a shoulder ligament. I'm not too sure, but I think we're going to find out more. We'll keep you guys informed. Stay tuned to Chat Sports, the website, the app, and we'll let you know what we find out.
Of course, and things will unfold as we go forward. We thank you for tuning in. I am Cam Rogers, Michigan Football Insider, James Yoder. Once again, we are presented by Man Crates. Go to mancrates.com/chatsports. Get one of these bad Larrys, a nice little tailgate kit, all in a box with a crowbar. You can pry it open just like James did earlier today. And cheers. Thanks for tuning in.